Good morning, everybody. Happy Monday. I am sorry that I have been sort of consistent. The past few days, I was sick as a dog over the weekend, and I had originally intended to release Friday's episode on Thursday, but life got in the way, and I had intended for today's episode to be Friday's episode. So I ended up skipping a day, releasing an episode late, and just saying fuck it until now. And I'm feeling a little better, but I apologize. My voice is still not really fully there. Still have to, snort and cough a little bit now and then, but we're getting there. We're getting there. So today we are wrapping up the discussion on the core values of EMS, what Michelle and I have put together and kind of summed up our goals, what we would love to see in EMS. And this one, personal wellness, is kind of funny because every time we talk about it, there's always some new aspect to talk about it, or not even new, just a different aspect. It's so nuanced and so I don't want to say complex, like it's difficult to understand. Just there are so many layers to this. Obviously, the main breakdown when you're talking about someone's personal well-being is one, the shape their body is in, two, the shape that their mind is in. And I guess the body is probably easier for us to talk about because it's a little more in vogue for first responders to be in the gym, at least depending on where you are in the country. And we're kind of okay with having the conversation about you know strengthening our bodies and striving for functional strength and looking better in the mirror, because who doesn't want to look better in the mirror? I mean, deep down, who doesn't? That's, to me, the ultimate body positivity is I make my body what I want. I make my body I sculpt it into what I want, what my objectives and goals are. That to me is the ideal body positivity movement. But when we start talking about making our mind stronger, we love talking about mental health as far as talking about our trauma and talking about all the horrible things we see, and that's really about it for the most part. Like, as far as mainstream first responder culture, that's about as deep as we get. But you know us, we like to go a little bit deeper than that, and we have. And today is just meant to be a cursory review of this topic and hopefully open up doors to talk about other things in future episodes and do kind of a deeper dive on these things. So let's start talking about taking care of your body. Well, obviously, one of the first things taking care of your body is exercise. And I learned a term in the last few years called lifespan, which is slightly different than longevity. Longevity is just the number of years that you live. It is the overall timeline of your life from birth to death. Easy peasy. We all would love to live longer. Great. Well, lifespan is a term that was coined by, or at least as far as I'm aware, was coined by Dr. Peter Attia, Attia. And you can find his podcast. It's called The Drive with Peter Attia. He's a racing fan, so he has that as part of his, his personality or his personal brand. And his basically the way he handles this topic, and he's a physician who treats a variety of patients, and specializes in longevity and lifespan care. His basic summary of lifespan is, I don't just want to increase how long you live. I want to increase the quality with which you live in that time frame. He's like, I'm not, if I can extend your longevity by, a few years, cool, that's great. But I would much rather you live a fulfilling, functional life than just rack up as many years as you can. Because how often do we see people in nursing homes when we work EMS who are alive, they're elderly, but they've got no quality of life. They're not able to contribute to their families. They're not able to contribute to society in any way. We're basically just keeping them alive and floating for however long we can. And I understand that there's times where that's unavoidable. You have chronic issues that make it to where someone isn't able to have a functional life, and you have to sustain them that way. And that's fine and good and wonderful. That's what medicine is for. But when you talk about lifespan, you're walking back 30, 40, 50 years from that end point, the people that are in the nursing home. So the talk of lifespan is not just for somebody who's in their 60s and 70s. This is for people who are in their 20s and 30s. This is for us, for people in my generation. the decisions we make now of how we live our life will impact us 20, 30 years from now. So when it comes to taking care of your body, you want to train for lifespan. So whether it's you love to run, or you want to go lift a bunch of weights, or you want to do yoga, all of which are great. All of those things are wonderful. Running is probably the least overall beneficial. It's okay for your cardiovascular health, but it doesn't do anything for your muscles, and it actually is pretty bad for your joints depending on where you run. You're better off running on like dirt instead of pavement or concrete or indoor running track or anything like that, or a treadmill. You're better off walking, to be completely honest. But you want to, whatever your shtick is, you want to be training for function and resilience. You want to make your body as adaptable and flexible, literally and figuratively, as you possibly can. Me personally, I find it helpful to have an emphasis on strength training because you do get a boost in cardiovascular health. When you're doing actual strength training, you're not just breaking down muscle tissue right then, but you actually have an ongoing process of muscle healing and caloric consumption that goes on long after your workout. So that's why not only do we have pre-workout foods, pre-workout drinks, but what you eat after you work out, what you drink after you work out is equally, if not more important. So training in a way that is going to maximize your overall wellness is ultimately the goal. If you want to be a bodybuilder, cool. That comes with a lot of extra shit. And a lot of those guys, a lot of them end up on gear and end up actually shortening their lifespan quite a bit. Now, does that mean it's all bad? It's all for naught? No, just when you go down that road, those are the risks you take. But the average person doesn't give a shit about that. The average person who cares about their lifespan, someone like me who says, hey, I want to actually be around for my grandkids. I want to be like a good protective father and grandfather. And I can't do that if I don't take care of my body. Sure, you can use and abuse your body in your 20s, but once you get into the 30s, you start to realize, hey, wait a minute, things are slowing down a little bit. Like I gotta watch this shit, and it only goes downhill from there if you don't take care of it. And so when it comes to exercise, focusing on exercise programs that will extend your lifespan, extend your functional strength, protect your joints, not abuse them, is beyond critical. And you also have to control what you put in your body. No one else is responsible for stuffing your face than you. Period. I'm sorry. Like, this is a conversation you can't have without hurting people's feelings because it ultimately falls on you. Now, I don't advocate for any specific diet. Honestly, the thing that has helped me the most is doing more of like a clean food diet. No bread, no carbonated stuff, minimally processed food. I mean, obviously, all food is processed to some degree, but no breads, no high added sugar content food. Stuck with pretty much with meats, fruits, vegetables. Sure, you throw in a little bit of dressing, a little bit of sauce here. It's not like the thing. It's not the main part of the food, but it dresses it up a little bit because let's face it, we actually enjoy eating food that tastes good. So if I want to throw on just a few more calories of something that will make my food taste good and encourage me to continue eating that high quality food, cool. I'm okay with that. That's totally fine. That's not going to hurt me. And obviously, your diet needs to adjust based on your physical demands. So if you are strength training and you want to actually bulk up and build some muscle, you're going to need a much higher caloric intake. You're going to need a higher protein intake and honestly a higher carb intake at that point because you're trying to add tissue to your body, but you are setting the terms by which that tissue is added. If you are a little more sedentary or you just don't want to bulk up, you want to just focus on cardiovascular health and stretching and functional training, and that's it. That's all you want to do. Then cool, your caloric needs are going to be different. So your diet should adjust accordingly. Now, there's some people that can handle doing the extreme diets for long periods of time. But there's a lot of people that can't. And every body is different. So you need to be in tune with what your body is and with what your goals are for your body. Sure, carnivore, great fucking diet. Keto, great fucking diet. Nothing wrong with them. Can everybody do those for long periods of time? No, they can't. And a lot of the people that do are usually managing some other chronic health issues because of it. Now, keto and intermittent fasting and carnivore, all those are generally known to have good positive health benefits. There's plenty of type 2 diabetics that have been able to reverse their diabetes or at the very least mitigate it so much they don't need to use medication. But again, every body is different. Everybody's different and every body is different. It's not as much about, oh, you're on this fad diet, but look at what you're putting in your body and plan accordingly. Because everybody's like, oh, well, I don't have time to eat healthy. Yeah, you do. You do. Where you need to make the time is in preparation. Because if you do the proper preparation, you will be able to eat healthy on the job. You will be able to eat healthy while you're on the truck. It is possible. It's not just possible, it's a reality. So, and I could get into so many different things that I found over the years that have worked and things that don't work. And I am by no means the epitome of nutritional OCD. Like, I'm not an expert at this stuff. I'm still figuring out a lot of it. But by being conscientious and planning ahead a little bit, you actually end up saving money. If you eat properly, you will actually consume a lot less because your body will be naturally full from healthy, natural foods that are not generated to make you want more. So you will net effect spend a lot less money by eating healthy. But you have to plan ahead. You have to now where some financial investment that you'll need up front, especially if you're in a busy service, a nice cooler. And no, you don't need to get a fucking Yeti. Don't waste your money on that shit. Get an Arctic, get a oh, what's the other one? Titan coolers are another one. They're great. You put a couple ice packs in there, they're good all fucking day. And you can also get foods that don't have to be kept super cold. Like I make my infamous cheese chips. Cool. Those can be at like a, lower room temperature. Hard-boiled eggs, they can be at a lower temperature. If you have cooked meat, it doesn't have to be cold the whole day. Just plan ahead a little bit. Spend a little bit of money up front, just a little bit. Invest in some quality equipment, and then the rest will sort itself out. Get some beef jerky. I love beef jerky because it's high protein, low volume, and honestly, I can buy a bag of beef jerky at Walmart for like $10. That's half my protein intake for the day in that little 12-ounce bag. That's half my protein intake. I can't beat it. It's fucking great. But that's just me. It's got a lot of salt in it, so you got to manage that as well. Manage your fluid intake. Drink fucking water, people. Drink the goddamn water. Get some electrolyte mixes because a lot of us are chronically deficient, and especially if you're exercising a lot and if you're going to be drinking a lot of water, which you should, you're going to need some electrolytes to replace it because just straight water is going to wash out a lot of that crap out of your body. So again, plan ahead with that. Spend just a little bit of money in the right places, and you'll end up saving money in the long run. Cool. So that is the very, very, very rapid review of your body's personal wellness. Let's talk about the mind. To oversimplify, which I hate doing, but to oversimplify, I think of it as there's two real objectives for your mind and mental health. It's making your mind stronger, so learn new things and learn deeper things. You can learn a bunch of random new things, but if you don't actually deep dive into something, you're not stretching your brain. Your brain is a machine. It is. AI has been trying to catch up to the human brain for years. Now it's kind of overtaking us a little bit, which is a little scary, but that's a separate conversation. You want to stretch your brain because it is an amazing, powerful machine that will do so much for you, but you have to take care of it and you have to train it because just like your body you will have muscular atrophy, your brain will atrophize in different ways over time. So push it, stretch it, learn new things. Learn new things that aren't related to EMS. Like go learn how to fucking change the oil on your car. Go read a book about philosophy. Go read books on psychology. Go tackle things that are interesting to you, but that are new and that you're not familiar with, and grow that side of your brain. Now, when it comes to making your mind resilient, this is a pain point for EMS, I think, because we are dopamine addicts. We are addicted to dopamine. We joke about being adrenaline junkies and all this stuff and thriving on chaos. We're dopamine addicted. If you look at the personal lives of quite a huge cross section of EMS professionals, what are the common trends you see? One, we're addicted to our phones, TikTok specifically, TikTok, Facebook Reels, YouTube, all of it. We typically are stimulant addicted, legal stimulant addicted, most of us. Um, but still stimulant addicted. We like that rush of caffeine, which okay, I freely admit I deal with that too. Caffeine, nicotine. I'm right here in the trenches with you. This is not like oh, I figured this shit out. Like I see it, I know it, and I have my own battles to deal with. But we thrive on front loading pleasure because we don't get paid great. We don't get to do all the things we want to do. So we find ways to make ourselves happy, kind of scattered throughout our lives. And unfortunately, when you front load dopamine, there is a toll. There is a tax. What is the expression? The hens come back to nest, and you got to pay up because there is a price for those dopamine hits, and it causes or influences, I should say, depression, anxiety, SI, all of it, because we're not looking at how our body is burning those hormones. So, in a way, you have to kind of front load suffering. And this is a topic we'll delve into later. Dopamine is a very, very, very rich topic that engulfs a lot of different aspects of your brain and body. But if you front load your suffering, we'll use the easy example of a cold shower. Did you know that just doing a cold shower releases exponentially more dopamine in your body than cocaine? Exponentially more. Why? It's miserable at the moment. You are hating life. It's horrible. But when you get out, it's kind of like, the runner's high. It's the same kind of thing. It's like, oh God, I feel good now. That's that good dopamine hit because you front loaded the suffering. You got it out of the way. You paid the tax up front. Boom, now I feel a lot better. Same thing with exercise. Yeah, it fucking sucks. Nobody likes lifting heavy weights. Nobody wants to go run. Nobody wants to do the fucking Stairmaster. But guess what? When you're done, if you're taking care of your body and giving it the nutrients and rest and everything that it needs, you're going to feel fucking phenomenal. The same thing applies to your brain. Stretch it and force it into uncomfortable places, and you'll get a reward. Now, what's another way that this plays out in our mental health? Well, I'm a huge advocate of reframing. And reframing is where you take the more than likely negative perception of a situation that your brain has, and you look for a different way to look at the situations that you're dealing with. And then you look for a different way that actually benefits you more, is really what it comes down to. It benefits you more. It's hard work. It's uncomfortable dealing with things, dealing with the fact that maybe you're the one who's the problem in whatever situation you're in that's causing you some distress. But when you can reframe and you can gain perspective, we have talked about this, the difference between perception and perspective, then that's a game changer. And when you do that, when you make a habit of doing that, your brain becomes so much more resilient to stress. Because instead of trying to fight the stress and push back against it, you're basically doing judo or jujitsu or however you want to describe it, and shifting that stress in a way that actually benefits you. Did you know that? Well, I think we have talked about this, but did you know that people who are highly successful are typically people who have very traumatic pasts, who were traumatized as children, who have been through trauma as an adult? Those are typically the highest performers that you see out in the rest of the world. That's their backstory. You don't typically have people who come from this, like, picture perfect little house on the prairie home that are uber successful and uber influential and making a massive difference in the world. They usually come from some deep shit. So that ability to take those stressors and those harmful events and make them something impactful and powerful is a way that you can create resilience in your mind and actually let you address the shit that we deal with in a much more appropriate way. So I know that's very short. Does not do the topic justice of personal wellness, but I think it's a good refresher, a quick pass on some of these things, and hopefully get you thinking about some of this because this is not a one size fits all conversation. There's a lot of nuance. There's a lot of different facets to this conversation that it's up to each individual person to undertake and make those changes for themselves. So, hope you learned something. If you're offended, good. You probably should be. But if you learned something, cool. Tell your friends about it. That's all I got for you guys. Be safe. Talk to you tomorrow. Bye bye.